So I think about all the ways that I want to spend one of my Saturday nights, especially in August in Minnesota, because we're getting to the point where the air is crisp, humidity is starting to go away, the bugs are starting to go away. So a campfire on a beautiful weekend evening, Saturday night, Saturday in the great state of Minnesota in August, you don't want to miss it. But we had to have our ass in a chair watching some preseason football, and it was frustrating because this game opened up more questions than answers. But at least we have TY McGill. The game was bad. Time of possession was bad. Giving up long drives, going 3 and out. Kellen Mond throwing 95 interceptions. He had missed tackles all over the place. He had fumbles. He had a bunch of drops. He had bad sacks. And it's just, we still have TY McGill. T.Y. McGill is the Alan Page of Vikings preseason. I love it. I love it. Well, he's making the roster, and I think that he'll make an impact as a rotational player. But we got winners and losers from the game that was, and, of course, winner number one is the aforementioned T.Y. McGill. 5 tackles, a sack and a half, so as well as 6 pressures. Now he has 3.5 sacks through 2 preseason games. He's looking good. Like, if they did a preseason all-pro team, he would be 1-1. He would be Aaron Donald of the preseason. Number 2, I got Brian Asamoah. Showed up and showed out again. Had a great game against the Raiders. Flew around, made some more plays against the Niners. I would shelve him because he's going to be your third inside linebacker. You got Kendricks and Hicks. It's going to be Asamoah. I think Asamoah is in before Troy Dye, even though Dye had a decent game against the Niners as well. So protect him at all costs. Winner number 3, you got a Caleb Evans, where he had 10 tackles, a tackle for loss, had a forced fumble too. I think that he showed the attitude that he has on the outside, as well as he's got great length and coverage ability, can play zone, can play man, can do a lot of things. I think the Vikings may have found some real value as a 4th rounder coming out of Mizzou. Safety Josh Metellus. So, third-year Michigan man, a nice pass breakup. Had a shot at an interception, but the wide receiver at the last second just booped it out of the way. Now, Metellus does play some high-end special teams as well, but it makes you feel confident and comfortable that your 4th safety looked as good as Josh Metellus did. Number 5, winner, you got BC Johnson, 3 catches for 29 yards, including a nice 16-yarder to convert on 3rd down from Kellen Mond. That was Pete Kellen Mond. That was the heights. That was it. And I think BC, respect him coming in 4 years ago as a 7th-round pick, overachieved as a rookie, sort of got lost in the wash after Jefferson blew up in 2020 towards ACL last season. I think he could and should be making the case for wide receiver 5-6, especially as some of the other guys like Myron Mitchell. Come on, man. Having a couple drops, it's rough. Winner number 6, defensive end Jonathan Bullard. Did the dirty work well. It's what the 5-tech needs to do in this defense. You absorb bodies. The same thing with the nose tackle. So you let your linebackers and outside linebackers make plays. He did that. He set the edge. You turned a lot of running backs back in the first quarter. So he looked really good there. I think that he's very clearly the 3rd defensive end. So you got Diesel, Dalvin Tomlinson. You have Armand for Watson. And I think it's going to be Jonathan Bullard in there. Winner number 7, Alexander Madison. So the entire starters were out. So Madison was basically a running back 1, and he looked like a starter playing amongst 2s, which he essentially is. 3 carries, 17 yards, good in pass protection. Now, King Kene was okay tonight. Ty Chandler looked really good. We'll get to him in a sec, but I mean, yeah, Madison is a complete back. He's ready to be a starter somewhere. This is a little bit of a LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Turner with the San Diego Chargers back in the day situation, where Michael Turner then with the Falcons had himself a nice little run there in Atlanta. So Madison, yeah, we'll hang on him this year. Then next year he'll get out of Dalvin Shadow. Number 8, Vikings fans, Skull. Well, it sounded loud and proud at historic U.S. Bank Stadium, which is impressive for a preseason game. Winner number 9, you got Lewis Cine, where through 2 preseason games, Cine has got a lot of run. We're just waiting for that hammer moment, but he played solid. He did give up 1 long catch, but he was in good position there. Is on that waggle. Stud fell to, I believe, Tyler Croft, but Cine was in good position. It was decent coverage. Also had 3 tackles. Winner number 10, punter Ryan Wright, which, he's listed at 245. Nah, man. But 47.5 yards per punt, 1 inside the 7, long of 59. I don't think that he's going to win the job per se. Because Jordan Berry, perfectly fine punter, a little bit better control. Wright obviously has the younger leg, but also Wright holding, questionable. questionable, and Jordan Berry's much better in that regard. Winners 11 and 12. We got Patrick Jones second, DJ Wonnum, both of them having really good second preseason games where you are playing second-team guys. I do think that Jones and Wonnum are higher-end second-team guys than most. Jones had 3 tackles and half a sack. Lance Armstrong, as well as DJ Wonnum, got a really nice pressure on a spin move against the Niners' backup left tackle. I forget who it was, but yeah, Wonnum's looking really good. I do think that they have secured the backup 3-4 edge rusher jobs behind Daniil and Za'Darius. Number 13, Andrew Booth Jr. pairs up on the injury. O'Connell did say that it was potentially a re-aggravation of an existing minor ankle injury that had gone unreported. So good news. We'll see. It'll probably run an MRI, but also, so Booth Jr., we said that he's got a little bit of Cortland Finnegan in his game, just constantly jawing, and there is a method to the madness. He isn't just out there being an a-hole for no reason. You're getting the wide receivers off their games, you're getting inside their head, and guess what? Most people, and wide receivers, once you get inside their head and they start doubting themselves and they get pissed off and they're off their game, now they're focused on just being mad at you versus the game plan. Guess what? Things happen, and he drew a punch. Niners number 17, I forget who it was, getting free 15 yards on the personal foul. I love it. I do love the attitude. Winner number 14, Kellen Mond. His first 3 throws, we're like, oh, here we go, baby. We're going to Sizzler. And then the rest of it, not so much. Speaking of starting out good early, Ed Dontel's first half defense, yes, primarily working with the 2s. The 3s, not so much, but you're pretty happy with how the backup defense played in the first half. Number 16, running back Ty Chandler, got that touchdown, really fought for some tough yardage, and we explained earlier, 5 carries for 19 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. That's a stark difference between his 5 carries for 50 yards, 10 yards a carry against the Raiders, but the second team offensive line was not getting as good of a push against the Niners because they had a couple of their ones out there versus what happened with the Raiders. But I do think that Ty Chandler did really good getting those dirty hidden yardage where you're taking a 1-yard gain and turning into 4, taking a -2 run and turning into no gain. Those yards add up. And they do matter at the end of the day. Ty Chandler, I think, showed me a lot today. Also, his pass protection was a little bit better. 17, wide receiver Tristan Jackson. Nice 17-yard catch. I think that he is making a case to be wide receiver 6 on this team. Running back Brian Koback, the pride of Toledo, UDFA. I think that he is suturing himself up at least a practice squad spot, even though the Vikings go super deep at running back. 3 carries for 17 yards. Also had a catch for 9 yards. Also, his pass protection, I think, looked a lot better today. Then 19, linebacker Chaz Surratt. So he's been in a little bit of limbo. He was the Vikings' second draft pick last year. He was a 3rd rounder coming out of North Carolina. Come on, raise up. He was an older rookie, converted quarterback, just learning linebacker, but 7 tackles, also had a half sack. He played better going downhill. He was one of the few bright spots on that 3rd-team defense. So there you go. Then losers. So number 1, Kellen Mond. Wasn't good. Just wasn't good. Had 2 interceptions. First interception, yes, he had pressure. King Kene, his pass protection wasn't so great on that play, but he threw off his back foot. Had 0 chance, right? And just building on continuity, you missed a couple passes. Yes, he wasn't aided by drops from Davidson, drops by Myra Mitchell. There's a handful of drops in there, but then the last interception was just inexcusable. It really was. Where the deep ball in the double coverage on the skinny post to Naylor, I mean, I'm fine with that, whatever. But the last one was just telegraphed. It had 0 shot. He didn't look off the safety. It was easy peasy lemon squeezy. It was just it was not a good play. That's all. And QB2, I don't think that he's the guy right now. I think you definitely want to hang on to him. I think you may have to roster him because you want to see what he is next year. You do like his potential, but he's too high variance at this point. He's got some highs, he's got some lows, and you don't find that consistency. It's rough. Loser number 2, punt returner Amir Smith-Marset. Now, ISM did fine as a receiver. I think he's cemented in as wide receiver 4, but he made a myriad of mistakes returning punts. He fielded a couple he shouldn't have, including the one that he ended up being stripped of, and turnover. It's just not good. But frankly, Jalen Naylor didn't look great either, so that one's wide open. Loser number 3, tight end Zach Davidson. Man, All right, so 2 big drops, one on 3rd and 5 from Kellen Mond, where he should have brought that one in, but the most egregious one was Mannion threw him a nice ball down the seam. Probably would have been 6 if he would have hung on to it, but he was already looking at the end zone, and he has had drops issues throughout training camp, and it's... yeah, may have to look elsewhere. Nick Muse actually looked pretty decent tonight. Loser number 4, quarterback Sean Mannion. So Mannion, I mean, he had the QB2 job sutured up. Like, if he just played above average, he would have been fine. But he didn't rise up. You know, he's still Sean Mannion. It is what it is. He did have that nice deep ball to Davidson. He did have a couple nice passes, but I don't think that it's enough that O'Connell and Kwesi and O'Hara are just fully like, this is our guy as QB2. I think they may potentially look elsewhere. Number 5, running back Kene, his pass protection, where that was the thing about Kene as well. Coming out of Iowa, where he didn't have as many carries because he was stuck behind Montgomery as well as Breece Hall. And then his pass protection, it does need work. Like Kene, with the ball in his hands as a kick returner or just running, he's fine. But a big part of being a running back is that pass protection. Does need to step that up. Loser number 6, Ed Ingram, where Ingram could have secured the starting right guard spot, but he gave up that sack working one-on-one against Kinlaw. And you could be like, well, Kinlaw is a former first-round pick, and he's going to be a starter. If Ed Ingram starts, he's going to be facing guys much better than Javon Kinlaw every single week. So that does matter. Also, him getting out on screen just sort of is what it is. Where Ed Ingram played a phenomenal game against the Raiders, but against a little bit better competition. Like we said, the Niners played a couple of their starters. Ed Ingram was fine, but I think this is going to come down to the final preseason week. We'll see. 7, second half defense. Yikes. And that included cornerback Nate Hairston, where I thought that Hairston would have had a shot, but he's been relegated to 3rd team. Also didn't look great in coverage. Linebacker William Kwenku, the former UDFA tryout, who I believe in a lot, but got lost in coverage on the second touchdown is what it is. Loser number 10, Janaris Robinson. So he's a guy who's definitely slipped down the depth chart to a degree, but Janaris, getting whiffed on by Purdy, not keeping that lane. He did get rewarded by getting half a sack, which I don't know if that should count, but and then lastly, Myron Mitchell had that big time drop from Kellen Mond. It was a really nice ball. I would have set up the Vikings in the red zone, and with Mitchell, he's looked good in training camp, but you just can't have that on the resume on tape. So that's it. Mercifully, we're done with the second preseason game. Oh, there's only one more to go. Good. Who are your winners? Who are your losers? Vikings-Niners? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.